Hello viewers, welcome to today's show. This is Teens Untold with me, Auntie Marge. Lately I have really had an opportunity to work with so many teenagers out there, and there's one thing that has really been coming up every time I have a sitting with them. They are always complaining about strict parents, and I came to think of it. Is it that parents are strict? Or is it that these teenagers don't understand the reason why parents behave the way they are? And that is the reason why it came to my attention, and I felt the need to have a discussion about it. And with me today is a friend, a gospel minister, a mother, and also a wife. And bila kwenda mbali, I want to give her an opportunity to introduce herself. Karibu sana.
Asante sana. My name is Zipporah Gathoni Wachira. Yeah, as you've heard, I'm a mother of 3, born again. And I'm happy to be in the show today. Thank you for inviting me.
Karibu sana Zipe.
Asante sana.
Hey Manse, I'm so humbled to have you here.
Thank you.
And
thank you
great,
so much.
thank you so much for even honoring the invitation. Huh?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
so
for having me.
when I was thinking about this, when I was like, when I have these sittings with these teenagers, and these strict parents keep coming up, huh? I thought of it and I was like, yeah, I feel like you're the right person that we can have, like, we can sit and of course have a discussion and see, like, get to understand. Is it that parents are strict, or is it that our teenagers don't understand, like, our level of, like, maybe the way we view things, you know, like we are only trying to protect them. Know that you're mothers, and like me, teenager, yeah. So I don't. How do you feel? Is it that parents are strict, or is it that our children don't understand the reason why we, like, protected, like we are protecting them and all that?
Okay, first of all, I think parents are not strict. A parent is one loving, the most loving, caring, selfless person to a child.
Sure.
Now that I'm a mother, I know.
Okay.
But when I was a teenager, having grown up as the only girl,
Wow.
and my mom was a bit strict. My dad was a bit easy.
So you also used to view it
Yes,
same thing, huh?
Exactly.
Like they're also strict.
Yeah.
So their perception is not wrong, as per se even now.
No, not at all. Now, now I understand better because, okay, probably because of the generation gap.
Okay.
You know, the way they were brought up and their generation, they were free and all that. And when you look at the generation right now, there's something about, what can we say, compromise in the morals and the values of the society. And so you find that a parent, probably because of even of the experiences they've grown up with, probably they got married early, they were in they are in an abusive marriage, or they've seen other people who are single mothers and stuff like that. So they don't want you to follow the same trend, right?
That's the same thing they were
yeah,
saying.
and then the society now, unajua, those days they used to have pretty, what can we say, if they had dances, for example, see kama easy raves nowadays.
The kids are going, yeah, you know? Like they go rave and there's a lot
like
of
alcohol, drugs and all those things. So kitambo, our parents never used to have that. Okay, they used to have dances, yes. But
they were better than they are nowadays. Huh?
They were arranged.
Yes.
The parents knew we are going to such and such a place. There is this dance going on, and they had their brothers accompanying them, and they knew at such and such a time they are supposed to be back. Lakini sasa nowadays, there's so much happening outside there. So parents are strict, but they are not. The teenagers are the ones who are supposed to understand that they are not doing it out of malice. They are doing it out of care. Now I know better. Yes.
Okay. Something else that I thought of it as, like, you were trying to explain. Higher. Nowadays, okay, we have realized, like, parents are very busy. Let's say busy. And And I'm not saying like they should be judged and all that, because they are saying they are busy, because they are trying to work so hard to make like ends meet for these kids. Would we say that the reason why parents come out the way they do, because like they're absent, like they are not part of their children's growth, and you know, them not being there, they know they have a lot of fears in them. You know, with now the current society, the way it is and all that, now that they are busy doing other stuff, and so they feel like the only way to compensate the absence is them being strict, and probably that is the reason why now the kids end up feeling like parents are very strict. Would you, how would you view that?
Okay, when you are asking that question, I'm thinking about how, let me use an example of a relationship with God or a relationship with another person. Let me use God first. There is a way you can say that you know God, but you know God vaguely. Like you've not read his word and know how he speaks and all. There is no connection. There is no relationship, tangible relationship. And let's now switch to the parent side. Yeah, I know society has become something else, and parents have to go out and work, you know, and probably some have to go overseas and work from there. And they are never there for the children. Probably what would keep them glued together is a relationship. Even if you're far away, they should try and at least have a relationship with the children. Like even in the absentia, they're supposed to, at least when they are back, just do everything they can to connect with the kids. If it's, there is Skype nowadays, there is video call, there is WhatsApp, there is all those things.
Technology has really improved.
It has improved. So they need to keep communication going. Yeah.
So like what the parents are supposed to do is like keep that communication.
Keep that communication.
To make sure like there is no gap. That relationship gap.
That relationship should be there.
And do you feel now if they like feel like this relationship gap, would that make it now these teenagers stop feeling as if like parents are very strict?
Well, strictness and having a relationship are two different things, because I think there is a way the parent is supposed to handle the kids, even in their strictness.
Yeah.
If a parent, for example, is forbidding a kid from doing something, or the teenager from doing something, they should explain why. You know, not like, don't do this, don't do that. And the teenager is like, I don't know why I'm being told to do this or not to do this, and others are doing it. So it would be good for the parents, as strict as you are, just try and explain to them, like, because they are growing up and they also have their own opinions. So it's good for the parent to explain why you're telling the child not to do this and that. And it's also good for the child to understand the parent from where they are coming from. Because the parent wants nothing for you but happiness and protect you from the world and protect you from every bad thing that is out there. Because trust me, the world is rotten right now.
Completely.
It is rotten, and we need to have that correlationship with our children.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the key word here is relationship.
Yes.
Because definitely without a relationship, there is no way you will even understand who this child is. Because
exactly.
Yeah. Because now the bottom line, the beginning of knowing who your child is, it's like having that relationship with them. Because that is the only way you can even instill morals and values to them, for them to understand the do's and the don'ts. Because if you're not there to explain that to them, they end up like having like this information from the wrong places. Exactly. And of course they end up making the wrong choices. Because I can remember there's a place I went, you know, like this time, the COVID times, the class 4s and the class 8s, they went back to school. And so I happened to be called to like one of these schools, like to have like just it was like a, how do they call it, like
a talk?
Yeah, just a talk, like a health talk. And so after that, I made it clear, like, if there's anyone who would want to see me, like, on a personal perspective, they can come and see me. And so there's this one girl who came. And so she was like, the most, if there's one thing that makes me sad, it's like, I have parents who are never there to like instill like the values and the morals. But now when it comes to like when I do something wrong, they are there. Like that is the only time they have my time, that time, and definitely they are there to punish me. Bearing in mind, the person who picked this wrongdoing is actually not even them, but the nanny. And of course, now the nanny communicated to the parents. And that is why I was asking, like, do you think, like, the parents are absent? Like, they're not there. And so they don't even know their kids. And so the only thing, like, to compensate their absence, like, they just come up with, like, these rules, you know, that they come and instill to them, bearing in mind they didn't even give the kids an opportunity to, like, make the rules together. Because I always feel like it is effective and it can be followed when it is effected, like when you're together. Like make them part, making them part of like what like you want done and what you don't want done, and of course explaining the reason why it should be done and why it should not be done. And so I'm thinking in the level of that child. So what should such parents do?
Okay, first of all, we've talked about the generation gap. Yes. And the world is evolving very, very fast. And we can't deny that the fact that our kids are, can I say, smarter than us when we were the age they are right now.
Even at the age we are, definitely, there are kids who are more smarter even than the parents are this.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it is good for the parents to sit down with the kids, discuss the do's and don'ts. And okay, we also want to draw a line as parents. We don't want to make it look like we are giving them all the freedom, and so that they forget that now I'm the parent here. They should know I'm the parent here and I'm the one who draws the rules and everything. But I also think it is good for them to come to a compromise, a common ground for both of them.
For both of
for
them.
What works
that will
for
work
both
for
of them. Because if it is one-sided, then it becomes something else. The child will tend to see the parent is going overboard, doesn't want to understand them.
Bossing them around.
Yeah, exactly. And the generation right now, they want people who are real, people who are understanding them. So also the parents should be very friendly. Try and be their friend much as you're their parents. Completely. So I think, yeah, I hope I've answered you.
Yeah, and of course, even like nowadays, okay, because like I drop my kids to school and I pick them up, and like you see in the morning, like they like you get to school, and of course, this child sees their teacher, and you know they run and they hug the teacher. And you know I see that, and I tend to imagine like back in our days, whereby you would see a teacher and run away.
I know. The other way around.
The other way around. So I'm just I tend to imagine like the generation that is now and the generation that we were back then, and I just tend to think that parents do not want to detach with the fact that like these are two totally different generations, and you want to bring like what you had back then, and of course instill to them, of which it's very hard. So it brings like all these difference, like this clash of everything, and so these kids now starts feeling as if parents are only being very strict. You know, like they're being strict, they don't understand us, they don't even like understand like our point of view and all that. Because to them, things that are normal, to us, they're very abnormal. And of course, it is the high time that parents need to understand like we are no longer.
They need to up their game.
They need to up their game and come to their level, at least so that we can make sure you don't lose them. And of course, they listen. You know, because of course, if you don't give them that environment, they'll never listen to you. They will never. And they'll always do them. And you know, most of the time, kids, when they rebel, they tend to think they're hurting their parents, like you did me wrong, and so I'll do opposite what you want. And of course, when they are doing it, they think I'm doing it to hurt you because you say this is what you don't want. But in the real sense, they're hurting themselves, and so they hurt, and as a parent, you hurt as well. You know, so to avoid all that, it is the high time, like parents up their game.
Yes.
And as we were starting, I heard you say like, yeah, you grew up in a family whereby like you are the only girl.
Yes.
And of course, back then, you felt like, yeah, they were strict.
Yeah.
But you know better now.
Now I know better.
Yeah, so what should you say like, it's bring the difference? What have you learned? Like you should also sell to them for them to understand like, yeah, back then it might seem stricter, but it's all for good. Like parents mean well, and of course, at least when you adhere, when you follow, like this is the outcome. Yeah, what should you say?
We should first know that I'm trying to find a Swahili saying that says something, but I can't remember right now. But experience is the best teacher.
Okay.
And the older you get, the wiser you get.
Sure.
So rest assured that parents have seen it all, they've gone through it all, they have experience. When they're telling you something, they're not telling you something out of malice. They know what they're saying. They actually know what they're saying. So they shouldn't view them as people who don't know. Unajua, maparo na wao, they are backward. Unajua, sisi sijui maparo wanafikiria aje and stuff like that. Yeah, I know there is that thing of feeling like our parents are kind of laid back, hawajashanuka kama sisi. But listen to them. Listen to their advice. It may not look like much then, because you are all hyped up with your friends, you know, you want to keep up with your teenage friends.
And what is going, what
is trending and all that. Asiyasikia la mkuu huvunjika guu. So I think it is, much as you want to keep up with the trend, you know, with your friends, slaying and doing all those things you do, it is also good to listen to your parents. They may seem old-fashioned and like they don't know what they're telling you, they don't understand your generation and what you're doing, but imagine they do. Even if they don't understand completely, just listen deeply what they're saying, because they will always have the right words for you, they will always have the best advice for you, and the world out there will tell you all sorts of things. But nobody will ever tell you the truth as a parent can.
And they care less.
Exactly.
The world cares less.
It cares. The world cares less. In fact, the world wants to see you sink.
Of course. And they tell you what you want to hear.
They tell you what you want to hear. So would you prefer you being told what you want to hear and then you go down the ditch, or would you prefer knowing the truth and the truth sets you free?
Of course.
Like the Bible says. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is very nice and that is very good. At least that is something positive, at least you learned, and it's something you can use today, at least to empower those the young ones, at least to understand. It's all for good.
It is all for good.
And they mean well.
Yeah, exactly. And I also think that the parents should give the kids, the children, an opportunity to have a conversation with them as friends. It never used to be there a long time ago, probably with their parents. But with this generation, as it is evolving, they should also evolve with it. They should be friends to their teenagers. They should try and discuss things with them. Just get to understand why this teenager wants to do what they want to do. And also, as you get to understand why they want to do what they want to do, get to also communicate to them why it is not right for them, or why you think they shouldn't do what they want to do. Yeah, just that.
Okay. Yes. And of course, at the same time, at times to some level, I always feel like it also teaches them how to even trust in themselves, how to believe in themselves. As much as you don't want it done, you can do it like in moderation. Like here, there is a party somewhere, and this teenage wants to go like so bad, this young person, and so yeah, you can be easier, you know, but like give a timeline. You can go, you know, but at least for like 2-3 hours, you know. Even when they go there, they also get an opportunity to learn and also see what goes there, so that it can also match what you're telling them. Because you go tell them like, no, this is what happens, and all that. And you know, if they don't have an experience, you know, if they don't like, or the way you say it, like a long time ago, they would go, but somebody tax them along, like to accompany them and be with him. Maybe it can be done that way, at least to like for us to balance on both sides, at least to satisfy like the parent side, and of course on this other side, at least so that they can stop sneaking, sneaking out. And of course, what you have said, explaining.
Yeah.
It is always good to give a no with an explanation.
It is.
Because nowadays you just find like parents are so overloaded with a lot of things, like a job.
Yeah.
Like so many luggages, a lot is going on. And so when you give a no, it's just a no and you're boom, done.
Yes.
And like you're off and you just want to go about your life like anything else. So it's always good to give explanation, because without explanations, definitely we are going to lose them.
It is.
And of course nowadays we are losing them in so many things. We have drugs, we have like homosexuality out there, and the world is full of those people who are ready to take advantage of them.
Exactly.
They only wait for that chance, that opportunity, and boom, they run with him. So it's always good to be there for our children, and of course give them nothing but the best. So as we wind up, the parting shot, at least what you really want to live like those teenagers, like you being, when you're a teenager, you grew up like with very strict parents. What would you want, like the parting shot, something you'd want to leave to them, you'd want them to know, you'd want them to understand, like inaweza wasaidia kwa life yao ya today, either to understand their parents and of course how to go about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are so many things I'd say, but I think I will just summarize and say that one thing that helped me in my teenage is having a relationship with God and walking with God.
Amen.
And the Bible says that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And it is true. It is true. Because once you have a relationship with God, you tend to walk with the godly values. You tend to have your life revolve around God. So if you're focusing your energy on, the trend out there and who are slaying, so what is trending and all those things, why don't you focus that energy on godly values? That is what actually helped me. There is a lot out there. There are church groups, teenage groups in church. There are so many activities happening, fun activities happening all over. So put your energy in a positive place. That is what I can tell you. And above all, put God first. You will always win with God. God, God, God.
Amen.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for that parting shot. And I'm very happy. Like the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
Yes.
And it is always good for them to understand. There's so many, many people say it as a verse in the Bible, but actually they don't get to understand like what exactly it means, like having that fear of Lord. Having fear is knowing, despite, like regardless of what I do, whether in private, in public, I might do something thinking like I'm hiding, my parents won't know, but definitely God will know. And at the end of it all, he's the rewarder, he's the giver, he's the seer, he's the door opener, like he's everything. If you want it done, if you want it to work, it has to be like total and fully, like complete fear of the Lord. And of course, it's the beginning of wisdom. So if you're seeking wisdom, it has to start by the fear of the Lord. Thank you so much, sweetheart, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Asante sana.
Thank you. I'm humbled. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Asante. Looking forward to have more of you here.
Thank you.
To have more and more of this discussion, at least to empower our teenagers out there.
Sure,
yeah. We give them the insight, and at least we let them understand like what is going on around them. So,
Kabisa.
Thank you so much, viewers, for being with us. That is all we have for today. If you have any queries, kindly write to us. We're gonna pick it out. Write it on the comments down there. If you have anything like you have issues that you want dealt with, you need our support, write to us. We'll stand with you. We'll journey with you, and of course, until you get better. Thank you so much for being with us. This is Wema TV, the voice of hope.
Wema TV, the voice of hope.